How can a fisherman... All right, and I'm going to tell you what we're doing here at Bass Thesis, fans. This gentleman right here is writing is a thesis for your high school. All right, I can't even spell thesis, but he's going to write one. So he's asking a few questions on bass fishing. And his first question to ask me is, how do a fisherman pattern lakes? How do we break them down? And one thing we try to do with pattern a lake is you're actually trying to take small pieces of the puzzle to make the recipe. You don't just start going out and try to conquer the whole lake. So you may start say you put your boat in there and say, I'm going to fish pretty close right here. I'm going to try a couple of different baits, and every time you get a bite or you see fish movement or you read fish on a depth finder, you start putting that together. And you use that as kind of build on it. So most of the time, pattern a lake, when people say, can you pattern a lake? Honestly, you can't hardly pattern the lake, but you can pattern the fish. The fish will tell you what to bite, and just pay attention to your small details.
Alrighty.
I did good on that one. I'm just kidding.
How do you catch a bass in a heavily populated blueback lake?
Okay. Question is, how do you catch bass in a heavily populated blueback lake? Well, you move away from that lake, because I can't stand it. Blueback herring lakes can be the trickiest lakes that I've ever fished. Most of the time, because those fish key in really just on those shad. So when they cruise out over deep water, they're hard to trigger. Unless the blueback are spooked or moving in erratic behavior, the fish don't go to it. So one of the things I've learned over the years is that the blueback, they're the trickiest, but most of the time, the biggest key to catching them on those areas is faster retrieves. Fast. And when you think you're fishing it too fast, fish it even faster, because they're simply trying to mimic what the blueback are doing.
Oh yeah, never stop it.
Yep, fast.
All right. How have modern electronics improved your fishing?
Well, how have modern electronics improved my fishing? A bunch. You know, used to we had to buy a map and have to sit in the hotel room and look at it. Now I have mapping on my units. I can sit right there and look at the contour lines. I'm able to save more waypoints than ever. I actually can lose side imaging, like on a hummingbird, I can look off to the side. So I think electronics, I guess out of all things that's improved bass fishing over the last 5 years, electronics is number one. I'm making an A on this thesis and I'm not even right.
All right. How do you catch bass on a heavy pressured lake?
All right, how do you catch a bass just on a heavy pressure lake? Most of the time you got to downsize. If it gets a lot of pressure, a lot of people are fishing, you want to drop down on your line a little bit. Lighter lines, smaller baits are always going to be better. So remember that. If a lot of people's been there before you, drop downsize. You ain't got no girlfriend, do you?
Not at the moment.
You lying to me? Yeah, I knew you was. I knew you were lying to me.
What's the most productive technique you can master and why?
I think I guess the technique, one technique that someone needs to master is flipping and pitching. Flipping and pitching is so versatile, it's so year round, spring, summer, fall. If a man can flip and pitch, he can survive in pretty much any tournament. Yeah. Now what's her name?
Olivia.
I knew it! I knew it was a girl involved! You like her too, don't you? Ooh, yeah! I knew it!
Two more for how do you catch a suspended bass?
The best way that I know to catch suspended bass most of the time is with a jerk bait. Most of those fish are inactive. What a jerk bait does, it enables you to get it down in the water column where they're at and let it sit, and then teases them into biting. So when I go in the suspended fish situation, it's a jerk bait all the time.
All right.
How old is Olivia?
What's my age? 17.
17?
How important is it to stay positive?
I think that's the biggest question we've asked so far is how important is it to stay positive? It is everything. Unless you have a positive mental attitude and you're confident and you stay in control of your emotions, you're destined to lose. Your mind, the human mind, is the strongest part of any athlete, whether it's fishing or sports or anything else. So if I had to give one piece of advice, I would say that remaining positive and being in control of your emotions is the #1 piece of my puzzle for being successful. Hey, it's good with the ladies. And I say, be positive, you know, like, hey, baby, I'm positive that you want to go out with me. Something, man. Y'all ain't been dancing around. You kissed her?
Oh, yeah.
Like he ain't got no game. I done kissed her. How about that, son? It's everything. The mind is everything. Where's Olivia at? I can meet Olivia if she was here. Hey, girl, how you doing?
She at home, you know.
Okay, let's
Gotta
check.
come work with that.
Now listen, let me ask you a question. When you're running down the lake, does that hair, does it get over one eye or both eyes?
It gets over, it just slides over.
I mean, but you kind of got it in there, so I'm just wondering, does it like beat back like a dog, and then when you stop, you kind of comb it back down?
Yeah.
Or do you just look this way and just let it whoosh down? Then stop, put your hat back on.
Yeah, it usually goes straight back. Then I gotta stop and fix it again.
There it is. Tip of the day, Bass East fans. Fix your hair.